quite frankly, there's some melancholy about it. Passing that torch and having myself followed my brother as the president of the Springfield branch. And I remember when I was a young man. Yes. When I was a gopher for the NAACP, when I was chair of the publicity committee, the political action committee, and I edited the newsletter. When we had a typewriter that used to skip after each vowel. And I don't know if any of you were around when we had memograph machines. Well, that's what we used to do the NAACP newsletter on. But I do want to recognize our members of the Massachusetts Commission Against Discrimination for being here, Dr. McFadden and Ella Finch, and then New England President Mr. Schofield. By the way, that is Willard Schofield's cousin. That's the minister in the family. But he, when I talked to him about that, he said, "I'm not his cousin, he's my cousin." But the importance of history was outlined in the comments of our new president, and I enjoyed it very much. When I listen to certain songs, I cannot help but shed tears, quite frankly. One of those songs is "Lift Every Voice and Sing," because I think about the people who I've known personally who gave their lives in this movement. When I hear "We Shall Overcome," I feel those same kind of feelings, because I know the people who gave their last full measure of devotion for freedom in the United States of America. You talk about some of the people you mentioned here, or some of the people I knew personally. I first met Dr. Martin Luther King right down the street here at Springfield College when he delivered the commencement address in 1964. I had heard him speak at the March on Washington the year before. When I was a youngster, I was the Western Mass coordinator for the NAACP, for the March on Washington. And I'd marched with him a year later in Selma, Alabama, and other places throughout the South. One of the things I liked most about him was his memory. He had a photographic memory. He remembered having met me in a reception line at Springfield College. But the history of this movement has to be told. Every opportunity we have, we must tell the story. We must let our children know about the heroes and the sheroes. The women in the movement got to be explained. Ella Baker Lewis, people got to know who she was. And my reality, I think she probably had more to do with the civil rights movement in the United States in the last 50 years than any other single individual. And we got to tell that story. My baby brother is here. I see he's joining us. So Fred Swan is sitting over there, father of Talbot Swan too, and we're glad to have him with us this evening. Thank you so much for allowing me to share with you. By the way, it is so important to see the torch passed on. It's not just in terms of the NAACP. But a lot of the young faces who grew up with my kids are now in leadership roles in our state, and in our churches, and in the whole of our community. This is very, very important. Thank you so much.
You all. And we certainly have you all to thank. The Council of Churches of Greater Springfield has already yielded our support to the NAACP, and Reverend Swan has been working with us prior to his election as president, serving as chairman of our social justice. Hope we keep that position. And we hope that we will have a long-lasting relationship as we continue the work of social justice throughout the city of Springfield and the greater Springfield area. The Pastors' Council of Springfield and its vicinity has also sent a wonderful letter to you, Reverend Swan, and it says, the Pastors' Council of Springfield and vicinity appreciatively applaud you on your election as president of the Springfield NAACP. And I'm sorry I cannot be with you on this momentous occasion and significant achievement in your life. I feel confident in that the Springfield branch will benefit greatly by your leadership and passion for social justice. It will also be prudent for the NAACP and Passions Council to create a partnership in order to address the multitude of concerns that affect the lives of our congregants. Again, enjoy this blessed occasion. We pray God's grace and benefits on your life and ministry. Determined, the Reverend Dr. Brett Snowden, President of the Passions Council of Springfield and vicinity. Thank you, Reverend Snowden. I see Reverend I see Fred Swan, the father pastor, the president of the NAACP. He sometimes preaches, but I'm so grateful to see him. Now let us welcome the very, very fine man, gentleman who has been a past president and who also a great mentor and father. He is the Reverend Talbot Swan the first. Before he comes, the Boy Scouts will retire the colors.
You may be seated. Prior to the benediction, I'm going to take the liberty of saying a few words. First, I want to congratulate my nephew, Elder Talbot Swan II, on first his election as president of the Springfield branch of the NAACP, and then on this installation service that has just been rendered. When he was born, a lot of people think or thought that he was my son because he was named after me. But when he was born, I went to the hospital to visit his mother, and of course his father was there. And we were talking, and I asked him, that is my brother Fred, what did you name him? And while I was standing there, he took the form that they sign and where they give their child a name, and he wrote on there, Talbot W. Swan II. And what was unique about this is that he was Fred's firstborn son. Most men name their firstborn son after themselves. But he named him after me. I guess he knew he was going to have another son. Or at the very least, he hoped he was going to have. But the Lord did bless him with another son. Not only one more, but two more. Two more. Three more. Three more. And he named his second son after himself, Talbot W. Swan, Fred Swan Jr. But as I said before, even in our travels within our church organization, a lot of folks think